Hi again, moms and dads. Parental Alienation Survival Coach brings you part 3 in our educational series about children who hate a parent. It's best to view these in the right order. So part 1 and 2 brought us up to this was the last slide of part 2. And we're going to continue part 3 right here where we left off on part 2. Remember, Parental Alienation Survival Coach is a division of a nonprofit called Speak Worldwide. And Speak stands for Stop Parental Emotional Abuse of Kids Worldwide. So here's a quote from Dr. Childress about the cruelty that causes a child to hate a parent. It's a pathological cruelty that's hard enough for a fully developed adult psyche to endure. When this kind of cruelty is upon you as an adult, it's hard to endure. It's devastating to the life of the still in formation psyche of the child. Okay, so we talked about that in part 2. So we're on part 3 now. So our next slide is actual examples of children from all over the world. It's examples of them being shamed and punished for showing love, affection, or yearning for the healthy, loving mom or dad. So, for examples, Don't Hug Your Mother. That's from Ireland. 2 boys, now adults, wrote a book. Great book. Don't Hug Your Mother is the name of the book because that's what they were told by their father. If while they still had a relationship with their mom and they still saw her, he told them, don't hug your mother. I think that says it all. I'm sure he also said, don't love your mother, and punish them for showing signs of wanting to be with her. But don't hug your mother kind of says it all. And who would say that to a child, to not hug your mother or your grandmother or any family member that loves you? The Thing, that was from England. A poor woman who was alienated as a child came forward and told her story. Sadly, when she went to try to reunite with her mother, her poor mother had already died, probably of a broken heart. As we know, a lot of alienated parents have health problems, stress-related, stress-induced health problems, and sometimes live a shorter life. Well, when she was with her father, the alienating father, the psychologically not normal father, he told her and all her sisters and brothers, if you're going to refer to that woman, you're going to call her the Thing. So anytime they wanted to say something about mommy, I want mom, and the Thing, you had to call her the Thing. You had to dehumanize her by referring to her as the Thing. Okay, these are actual examples. Another thing is they'll be called a mama's boy or mama coddling. They'll be shamed for wanting to go to their mother. I mean, this does work both ways. But if it's the father who's abusive, he'll say, oh, look at the baby going to hug his mother, or look at the baby going to hug their mama. You're just a mama's boy. That's so sad. The child's just doing a normal thing and going to their parent for love. These things work both ways. Then you have, another real life example. Why do you care about your deadbeat dad? They'll say things like that because they are trying to get the child to not love their father or their mother. And, in their way that they say it to the child, there's no question about it. Your father's a deadbeat dad. The child doesn't even know what a deadbeat dad even means, right? And chances are the father's not a deadbeat dad. They've been alienated and pushed out of the life of their child. But these are some of the tactics that these parents use on their children, so you can start to see why it's easier for the child to just go along and not make any waves. They are told, they believe, and they repeat lies and twisted truths about their loving, caring parent. Children who hate a parent are persuaded and coerced to participate in false allegations. And they're encouraged to testify about their own parent, against their own parent in court. That is so not easy for a child. So if that happens to you, if you happen to be pulled into that horrible, stress-inducing, court-induced stress situation, remember how difficult it is for your child too. They love you, and they have to go to court and lie about you, or they'll be punished, shamed, mocked, made fun of. They don't know how to get out of it. The only thing they know how to do is just obey that unhealthy parent so they can avoid the trauma that will be thrust upon them if they try to express their normal feelings of love. Children who hate a parent, some examples of lies and twisted truths about their loving, caring parent. They will say any of these. My mom is abusive. My dad is a deadbeat. My mom doesn't pay the child support. Or my dad spends all the child support on himself. This is what we call the money card here. The other parent will always say something about the money to the child, because money is something like tangible that a child can understand. So they'll always say, oh, your other parent is spending all the child support money that I give them on themselves. Or if the parent is on the receiving end, your father doesn't pay the child support, or your mother isn't paying her share of the child support. Anything like that. It's not right to get your kids involved in those discussions. Those are between two adults. Pulling the child into that just adds to the child's confusion. The money card and the crazy card are played often. They will say that the other parent is a psycho or a drug addict or never wanted you. These are very, very, very sad things to tell a child. But I would say that the money card and the crazy card are pretty common ones that are played. And the sad one, you know, about that parent never wanted you. That's really sad. And again, it's just that parent's opinion. We went over that in part 1 or 2 about it's the opinion of that one parent, and they're, you know, dousing the other child, their child, with all these lies and opinions. And that constant drumbeat that Dr. Warshak talked about, constant drip, drip, drip of all these horrible things about the crazy parent. The money card and the crazy card are played often, and it's very, very, very unfair. Here's some more real-life examples of them being encouraged to testify against their parent. These are real-life examples that I know from children who were alienated. They believe their parent should be in jail. I've even read where the child used this phrase, that my parent deserves to be raped in court by me and my sick parent. It's a crazy thing for a kid to say, right? A young child or teenager, they're persuaded or ordered to tell the court lies of abuse by the healthy parent. Can you imagine what goes through a child's head when they have to lie and say, my parent abused me, when they know that the healthy parent didn't do that? It's the opinion of the other parent drilled into their head. That unhealthy parent is drilling these ideas into the child's head. And then they go to court, and then they tell the judge. That's why children should never be involved in court. The children are boundary violated by an unhealthy parent who views them not as a separate human entity, but as an extension of themselves, an extension of their own unhealthy self. And they must, the child must see, feel, hear, and think as they do. These children are psychologically manipulated, abused, and conditioned to suppress the authentic feelings of love and affection for the other parent. And they're rewarded with parental approval from that unhealthy, sick parent for showing disdain, disregard, and disrespect for the other parent, for you. Because the sick parent is conditioning them to do that and rewarding them when they do it. And the reward might not be money, it might not be gifts, it might just be a gentle approval, a peacefulness, so the child doesn't feel like they're walking on eggshells. They may get a feeling from the parent that they're finally doing the right thing when they show no love, affection for you, and go a step further and show hate, disregard, disrespect. Okay, it's sad, it's hard to deal with, but this is what happens. So we're going to end it here. Part 3 is going to end here, and we're going to go in part 4. We're going to go into the answers to some of these questions. So in part 4, we're going to be discussing what happens to the emotional health of a child who's taught to hate a parent and themselves, and therefore hate a huge part of themselves. Well, these children do suffer from having had to suppress a part of themselves. So we'll get into that in part 4. I know this is not easy to take, moms and dads. I know it's hard to listen to, but it's really good to be educated on what's happening. And again, this is not the opinion of Parental Alienation Survival Coach. This is research of all the leading experts, and I encourage you to research them too. Dr. Childress has great videos out there on YouTube. Dr. Amy Baker, Linda Gottlieb, Warshak, Bone, Ray. There's so many. And they've dedicated their huge parts of their work to this horrible situation. So again, education, very important. Hang in there, moms and dads. I know it's not easy, but stay strong. You're not alone.